Hi guys, it's 6 o'clock on the hour, so I am going live, and we actually have so much content to get through that I'm really keen to get going, so I'm heading straight into content. And anyone that joins or anyone that has questions, you're free to put them in down the bottom in the comments, and if you're watching the replay, you can join us live next time and I will answer your questions, so email in me your questions for next time. So I've had some great questions around some of the topics I can cover, and the two favorite things that I got asked about to cover for this Facebook Live was, how do I feel abundant around money when I'm actually feeling really stressed about money? How do I get into that abundance mindset? And the second thing that I got asked about was, how do I market myself, or how do I market my product or my service without feeling really salesy? And that's one of my favorite topics, and that's the one I'm going to start with first, and then I'll lead into the second, because this is a massive topic and it's something I could talk about for ages, but I'm going to get to the crux of it. And what I've tried to do is break it down into three really easy components or steps for you, because who doesn't like easy? So how do you market yourself without sounding salesy? It doesn't actually matter what you are selling, whether it's a product or whether it's a service, and it doesn't actually matter whether you're selling something for $10 or $100 or $1,000. If you're not congruent with your pricing, you're going to feel salesy about it. You're going to feel like you're trying to push or pull or con someone into making this sale happen. And it feels really yuck for you. And it's also what the people that you're trying to sell to pick up on. And that's when you have this incongruent energy. So here you are talking to them about how amazing the thing is that you're trying to market to them is, whether it's something you do for them, a product that you have, a service that you provide. And here is what you really believe about how good the product really is, or if it's worth that much, or how much you believe in yourself to sell that, or whether or not you believe in that price point. And this difference here is the energy that your potential customer or client is picking up on. And that is that energy that makes them go, I'm not sure if I should buy into this product or service. And it's what makes you feel like a bit of a shady salesperson, no matter how amazing the product or the service is that you are providing. And I want to really talk about this because I work with a lot of people, and I'm in the service-based industry myself. And most of the time, what we are serving or selling is of great value and great service to others. But do we actually believe that? And that is going to be the number one thing that will impact how you feel about making sales and actually impact the number of sales you make. So here is my number one question to you. First of all, ask yourself, how much do you really believe the product or the service that you are offering is worth? How much do you really believe it's worth? Not how much is it, not how much is the person next to you offering it for, not what is the going rate for it, not what is the market rate for it. How much do you actually think it's worth? And then I want you to think about whatever number comes up for you or pops up for you or feels congruent for you. Is that different to the price that you're offering that product or service at? Is it a lot lower? Is it a lot higher? Is it around the same? Now, unless that number is bang on exactly the same as what you're offering that product or service for, that's your first incongruence issue right there, okay? So first of all, you've got to actually identify this stuff, because a lot of people come to me and they say, I don't know why this is happening. Why am I not making sales? Well, if you are selling something for $200 or $20, but you really believe that that product or service is worth a completely different price, you're going to run into a congruence issue within yourself. That's your number one problem. And then secondly, trying to pass that on to your person that you're trying to make a sale with is the second problem you're going to run into. So identify what you, first of all, really believe your product or service is worth. Now, here's step 2. I want you to think about what the service or product you offer, whatever it is you're selling, how much value is it to the person that buys it? This is probably a completely different number, and should be a completely different number to what you are actually selling the product for. So, for example, a lot of my clients are in the service-based industry. That means that they're facilitators, they are people that provide a service, whether they're coaches, whether they're practitioners, whether they're in the healthcare industry or the real estate industry. They're providing a service. They're doing something in which they're asking other people to pay them to provide a service for. Now, how much is that service really worth? Let's use me as an example. I'm a facilitator and a coach, and what is the value of the service that I provide? If I look at how much what I do is actually worth per session, over the course of a session or over the course of a certain amount of time of working with me, a person's whole life can change. And in one session, you can come to me and we can completely change your take on your money issue or a relationship issue, or take something that's been really bogging you down and blocking you in life and completely clear that. Now, how much is that worth? That could be worth to that person anywhere between a couple of $100s to thousands of dollars, especially if we clear something that helps them move forward in their life and keep moving forward and keep succeeding. Or if it helps them have a long-term, really fulfilling relationship. How much is that worth? Who knows? It's up to that person to put a price on that. What it's my job to do is make sure that the value that I am offering, I am so sure of that value. And I'm so sure, and so here's the trick with your pricing. Make sure that you are really clear on the amount of service you're offering. If you offer a product, how much time does it save that person? How much value does it bring to their life? How much does it help them either perform their business, do things in their life? How much pleasure, how much joy, how much convenience does it bring them? And that amount should far outweigh whether it's a $10 or $20 or $100 or $1,000 price tag. If you guys have any doubt about how much people are willing to pay, you've got to have a look around at the luxury market and have a look at what people are willing to pay for things that bring them joy. There would not be a luxury car market if people just wanted to pay the amount that was required for a basic Toyota to get them around. People wouldn't be buying Maseratis and Lamborghinis, right? So whether the product you're selling gives them convenience or it brings them a lot of joy, or if the service you provide is helping them immensely in their life or offering them convenience or doing something for them that they don't want to do, you've got to realize that the value in that far outweighs whatever price you have put on that. So the problem that people have is when you guys price yourself, what you're often looking at is how much you're offering it for. So you'll think to yourself, and in my experience, and I'm going to use dollars because that's the part of the world I'm in, if you're offering something, kind of in the couple of $100 price range, over a couple of $100, people start to go into a lot of doubt and into a lot of, the conditioning around that. Oh, it's really hard to make a sale. I have to convince people. I have to prove that it's worth that much. And am I ripping people off? Is it worth people paying this amount of money? And you've got to flip the switch on that. You've actually got to look at how much value this thing is providing. And actually, that person is getting that life-changing service or product for a bargain, and that's going to completely take away all of this charge you have around trying to push this product or this service. Invite them to have a much more convenient or pleasure-filled life. rather than feel like you're the one that's having to talk them into. This is the lie that you're buying. How many of you are thinking that you have to convince people into buying into this thing? The lie that you're buying is that you're the one that's having to push them into the sale, when really all you've got to do is say, hey, this is what I provide. This is what I do. This is how amazing I believe it is, and this is how it can help you in your life. It's pretty hard to say no to that when it's in that way. When you are very congruent with the product that you are selling or the service that you are offering, you can almost offer it at any price. So that was the third tip, is that you have to get congruent with your pricing, because that's when it switches into this flow. That's when it switches into you being this invitation to allowing people to come to you and buy this thing that they are really desperate to give you the money for. Okay, so it doesn't actually, and this is where I say it doesn't matter how much you charge, because people aren't actually, there's going to come a point where people are more interested in what you can do and how much you believe in what you are offering, rather than needing to be convinced whether or not to buy it. Because chances are, if they're not going to spend that money with you, they're going to spend it somewhere else with someone else. So why not with you? Why don't you become the person who's most congruent with the product or the service you're offering, what you're doing, to close those sales? And there is a whole module. So as you can tell, I love talking about this, and I can talk about this all day long. And I do this across every industry. So for those of you that aren't familiar with some of the work that I do with businesses, I work with people in businesses across any industry. And like I said, whether the price point is them offering a product or a service that's between $50 to a couple of $100, to people that are offering, thousands of dollars, if not hundreds of thousands $1,000 worth of contracts or sales. And it doesn't make a difference to what I deliver to them, because what I'm always working on is energetic congruence, getting you congruent with what you are offering, with what's coming out of your mouth, with what you're doing, and how you're presenting to your potential clients or your current clients. That's what keeps you in the game, and that's what keeps you being the person that people can go to absolutely trusting, because there's no incongruence in your energy. They know that they can trust you because you don't secretly believe that you're ripping them off or getting them to pay more money than what it's worth. So that is my little spiel on how to sell without feeling salesy and how to market your product or your services. Now, for those of you who are facilitators or who are coaches or people that work with people and try to fill your workshops or your classes, or are trying to get one-on-one clients, or trying to get one-on-one people to work with you or coach with you, again, same concept. It's not about saying, this is what I do, this is how great I am, this is how much I charge. It's more about realizing that you are 100% congruent with delivering the very best that you have to deliver, and it's going to help that person. It's going to be of service to that person. Don't be afraid to talk about how, so rather than selling, pushing your product or your class or a one-on-one session with you, you're allowed to talk about how great you are with the work that you do. You're allowed to let the work, you're allowed to shine through your work. I love the work that I do. I'm so inspired by the work that I do. And it took me, and so this is why I'm having this conversation, I'm officially giving you permission to speak openly and with confidence and with pride about the work that you do and the results that you get. And it's not about boasting or bragging. Rather, the way that my classes have been filling in recent times is I'm finally willing to stand up and say, you know what? I know I can deliver. And not only do I know I can deliver, but I promise I'm going to stand here and give you the very best that I have to offer. And it will absolutely help you, because that is what I'm 100% committed to. And when you say things with that conviction because you truly believe it, you are truly congruent with it, it's not about sales and marketing anymore. It's about really wanting to help people and people actually recognizing that and really wanting to come to your classes, really wanting to be your clients. One of my favorite things that I talk about is having a referral-based business. So most of my business and over 90% of my business and my classes, they've grown through referrals, not through advertising or needing to do a hard sell. They've just grown through word of mouth and people being so happy with the work that we've done that they've gone and told other people, and then those people have turned up to my classes or to have sessions. So are you willing to let your work speak for itself and to really back your work? Don't make the mistake of thinking that you're selling yourself. But if you're absolutely confident and if you're happy, you've got to believe in the work that you do. Because I know that most of you are brilliant at the work that you do. Would you be willing to back your work? Back the body of work that you do and now allow that to speak. And so because you're the mouthpiece for it, you're allowed to speak up and say, hey, this is the results that we get. This is the changes I've seen. This is why I'm so passionate about the work that I do or so inspired about the work that I do. You're allowed to say those things in case nobody's told you that, because nobody had said that to me, and it took me years to be okay with getting to a place where I talk about the work that I do and talk about the results that we get. And so I really encourage you to use that as a way to talk to people, or when someone says, I have this problem or I have this need, if that's something that you provide, put your hand up and say, hey, I do that. And the last time I helped someone with that problem or that issue or that needed that product or service, this is what happened. This is the feedback I got. That's how you grow your business without needing to push it onto other people. It's how you grow without being salesy. It's how you do sales in a really congruent way. And I'm going to stop talking about this now because I've been talking about it for a long time. But for those of you that want to know, there is a whole module on this topic in the business upgrade program that's coming up. And there is also the whole program is around finding those subconscious blocks you have around where you are not congruent with those areas in your business, where you are not congruent with what you are doing in your business, where you are not congruent with what you are saying in your business, that you don't even realize that's where the incongruence lies, that's creating the problems in your business. And so if you want to know more about the business upgrade program, I will post that information up under this video. And for those of you that are on my mailing list or have signed up to the 5-day challenge, which I'll talk about shortly, you will get the information for that program as well. So if I have any questions, you're free to type in questions. And if you don't have questions, I'm going to keep on talking because the next question that I had. So is this helpful, guys? For those of you that are on watching, if this is helpful, pop an emoji into the comments, because at this point, I'm just having a great time talking to myself about congruence and business and pricing. So the second question that I had, and there was actually 3 things I was going to address, but the second question that I had was around how do you feel abundant when you're actually really stressed about money? So love that question, because I mean, unless you're quite a special or quite a unique individual, nearly everyone I know has been here, especially in business. And something I love talking about when it comes, thanks for your comments, guys. Yes. Something that I love talking about is these concepts are consistent across any industry, but also any price point. So when I talk about issues with money or feeling stressed about money, If you think that millionaires don't feel stressed about money or billionaires don't feel stressed about money, I've got some news for you. Whatever stress you feel around your business and the finances, millionaires and billionaires actually feel that too, except at a way bigger level. Because millionaires and billionaires often are running their businesses on leveraged money. They often have loans, they have massive outgoings. So however much your outgoings are in your small business or your medium business or enterprise, imagine how much a million or billion-dollar industry or company has. So everyone has these same concepts and thoughts and worries about money. All that's different is the scale. So how do you feel abundant when you're really stressed about money, and when people say to you, oh, just feel abundant and money, attract that money and use positive thinking and pull that money in, and you're like, all I can think about is how much money I need to make by the end of this month to pay rent or to pay my staff. Like, I have absolutely been there, so I know how it feels, and I know how hard it is to get out of that mindset and into a abundance mindset. So here is my number one tip for you, and it is my number one tip, and I'm just going to say it, and it's gratitude. And it's not feeling gratitude for the millions of dollars that hasn't come in yet and that you can't see, because that's just trying to kid yourself. And again, that's not being congruent, because if you don't have millions of dollars, how are you going to feel grateful for it? It's actually being grateful for exactly where you are and what you've got in your life currently. And for those of you that are wanting elaboration on this, I'm actually going to shortcut this entire process. If you go on to my website, which also I will link, a little box will pop up in about 5 or 10 seconds, and you can download a free call called Show Up in Your Life and Create Abundance. And in that call, I really go into like how to create gratitude and how to have gratitude, the difference between thinking about gratitude and going through this, daily. There's lots of practices right now about feel grateful, and people say things like, I'm grateful for having a roof over my head and water and food, and I get that, and it's a great practice, but you have to really, really, really feel it. Like, you have to be really congruent with this gratitude process. So rather than try and rehash it on here for you now, I'm going to say to you, look, go onto my website, download that whole free call. And it really breaks down what I mean when I talk about really feeling this gratitude, that you really feel it in your body. And what it does is it energetically changes. It changes the chemical balance of your body, and it changes the frequency and the thoughts and the energy that you're putting out into the universe. For those of you that have children, it's kind of like when you've had a really stressful day and all the shit's going wrong, and then you kind of come home and you catch your little boy or girl or your kids asleep in bed. And in that moment, you're kind of just overfilled with love and you forget about everything else for a minute. It's that kind of process. It's you just need to focus on and get really deeply grateful for what you do have in that moment, not that thing that hasn't yet materialized. And then you are able to really start to create, it changes the frequency or the waves that are going out into the universe. The universe literally goes, wow, this is what this person is thinking about. I will respond with more of the same. That is how this law of attraction or manifestation works. But you can't trick yourself into it, or you can't trick the universe into responding to it. You've genuinely got to feel that gratitude. So that, and secondly, the following on from this question, and another question I had received was, how do you receive the money? How do you get better at receiving money, or receiving anything for that matter? And that is exactly what this 5-day challenge is about. Over these 5 days, so for those of you that are like, what 5-day challenge? You're in this group. It's called Monetize Your Business. And one of the first things we're doing in this really cool group is we're going to be running this 5-day challenge. It's from the 19th to the 23rd of March. And every day for those 5 days, there's going to be an exercise where I'm going to jump on in here. We're going to do this exercise live, and it's going to activate your money flows. We're going to give you either a tip, a tool, or an exercise for you to make more money that day. So over those 5 days of that challenge, the point of it is that you are making money over and above what you would normally make that day, each and every day for 5 days. So by the end of those 5 days, you've got a certain amount of money that's over and above what you would normally make. And the point of me showing you that for 5 days is if you can do those things for 5 days and make more money, imagine how much more money you'll make if you utilize those tools and exercises every day as part of your business. Okay, so that is what this 5-day challenge is about. So you guys, and there's a few extra videos and things that I'm wanting to do in here, because for those of you that don't know me or think that this is something that I do all the time, it's actually not. And the reason it's not something I do all of the time is because I wasn't congruent with it. It's not something that I thought would be fun. I didn't want to be one of those people that had this group or was just doing something because everyone else is doing it or because it's what I need to be doing to grow my business online. And so it wasn't until something came along that I was really excited about, and that kind of created itself, which is how most of my classes and the things that I create in my business, I really work with the energy of it to create it. So for those of you who speak this energy language that I like to sometimes speak about, is I'm so congruent with this energy, and it's such a great, light, exciting energy. Like, this group has created itself. It's got over 100 people in it in a matter of days, 2 days, I think. I haven't really done anything apart from put it up on Facebook. This energy that got created around, I want to talk about making more money now because I'm so congruent with it, and how can I serve more people, and how can we make it fun? And so that's why we're here. And so I'm going to add all of those links, and hopefully I can remember everything I said, to the comment section of this Facebook Live. For those of you that want to be emailed out all of the videos as they come out, and be emailed out the video and the home play exercise every day for the 5 days, you can sign up to the challenge. I will put the link up in the group now. And let me know what else you want to hear about, because I can talk about this stuff for days on end, which is why we've created the Business Upgrade Program. If you don't know about the Business Upgrade Program, like I said, the link's going to go up. If you're already on my mailing list, you should have received the launch of it. The email with all the information on it came out on Tuesday. And how much money can we create, and how much fun can we have? And how much change can we create for our lives and our businesses and for everyone else on the planet while we're at it? Okay, I'm going to get going, and this was so much fun, guys. So thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time.